Violin. Words and pictures created by Scott Kelley. In the Caspian forest, by the Caspian Sea, there a Caspian man cut a Caspian tree. If the tree, had it grown, who knows what might have been. Now the wood, by the man, it will form a violin. He dreamt as a boy when he heard a stranger play, "Some day I will be the man to which music I will slay. I'll create the finest violin that the world cannot deny. And I'll play that violin until the day I die." At 20 years old, while in Azerbaijan, he strolled the thick woods till the right tree fell upon. Before him it stood, the tree which to chop, the Caspian maple, to the ground it will drop. Carefully he cut and shaped the fine wood to form an instrument, just as he should. Slowly he sanded until there was nothing to sand. The wood was as smooth as the palm of a hand. "It's ready," he whispered, well filled with slight pride. On the top shelf he placed it, then went for a ride. The strings he must purchase to make it complete. He drove into town to finish his feat. The new violin on the shelf without strings was filled with excitement for what the man brings. "I can't wait to play music. For this I was made, not just sit on the shelf from whence I was laid." The violin pondered, "Oh, the sounds I'll create. Will my first note be on key? Will my first note sound great?" He lay on the shelf, awaiting the man to return, to put on the strings. "How long must I yearn?" But the young man got sidetracked and busy with life. He left to buy strings. He came back with a wife. Time kept on slipping, with jobs, kids, and tears. The stringless violin hadn't been picked up for years. In darkness he remained, filled with cobwebs and dust. The violin saddened by loss of man's trust. "Why did he not finish and string me that day? My music is empty without someone to play." Laughs of his children, now just sounds from his past. Hope sometimes would linger, but never would last. He could hear the man talking and moving about. For years he held hope. Now hope filled with doubt. Decades of dust and neglect made the violin cry. The young man, now old, his whole life has passed by. On a hot afternoon he heard the creak of a chair dragged along the pine floorboards. A hand reached in the air. The old violin felt the old man's old hands. Gingerly he lifted, and now understands. On the shelf 80 years the violin slept. The old man's heart softened, and he quietly wept. "Oh, violin, why did I do what I did? Not string you that day back when I was a kid. I'll clean you up proper. You'll be fit for the kings. And down in the basement, I've still got the old strings." The old man sat down, violin by his chin. With a bow in his hand, a new song he'll begin. But the old strings couldn't hold from the glide of the bow. The strings snapped off hard, killed the man with one blow. The old violin thought as he fell past the man's knee, "My first note was great. My first note was on key." But tragedy hit hard. Great notes are no more. The old violin shattered upon hitting the floor. So you listened to my story. I hope it made you grin. Check out my other stories. Perhaps you'll grin again. If you click that thumbs up button, I'd be mighty gratified. I'd be mighty gratifieder if you click the word subscribe.